Okay, and we're live on YouTube, my friends and gems. Here we are. I'm in sunny Southern California, and Carol, my co-host, is in sunny Yelm, Washington. So hello to my friends and gems. We're going to continue. We're going to talk about the Mitochondriac Manifesto by R.D. Lee, how nature nurtures the body and technology torments it. Did you hear that?
Oh
How
my goodness.
nature nurtures the body and technology torments it. If you only knew how literal that is. But if
Yeah.
you're watching on Love and Money Secrets TV, you already have an insight because you know about the LED lights and the blue light toxicity from the screens and electronics and all sorts of other things that I share with you guys, right? So we're going to take it from page 11. Believe it or not, that tiny little, it looks like a period. That's a number 11. And yes, I have to put my glasses on to read that. But even if I put that close, it's kind of hard to see. It's an 11. And we are going on from here. You can't treat your health like a hobby anymore. So let's see what RD has to say, because he's pretty bright, illuminated guy here, right? So it says in the old days before 4G, it wasn't that long ago. Isn't that funny? 4G was not that long ago. So before 4G and Wi-Fi became widespread, you could spend your idle time learning how to fight the disease of the day. You'd read top 10 articles, listen to health podcasts, scour online forums, and find the magic solution to relieve your nagging symptoms. Then you try the diet, the supplements, or practices the guru recommended based on how much you like them and their story. You try it for a while until you got tired of doing it. It stopped working, or somebody new came along with a seductive theory or story and something new to tell you or sell you. And like a revolving door, you'd shift your time, your discretionary income, and your hope onto the next greatest thing. So let's face it. In the old days, we had the time and the healing capacity to spare, so we could afford to take a casual approach to getting healthy and staying healthy. And that was fine for most people's lifestyle, biology, and bank account. Unfortunately, those days are gone. Now, everyone must take their health seriously, or you're going to get sick. That's true. No other time in history has it been easier to get sick now because you have more environmental things that are changing the chemistry of your body second by second. So it is that simple, because taking your health for granted now has a consequence. It may not be common knowledge just how symptoms tie back to their source, but trust mitochondriacs when we say to you, unfriendly biophysical forces explain the source of disorder better than any other health science to date. At this time, putting the friendly forces of physics back in your life is the best medicine to cure disease and dysfunction today, which is exactly what becoming a mitochondriac will teach you. Carol, is the sound okay here? I kind of had my microphone a little farther. Okay, good. So this is which is exactly what's becoming a mitochondriac will teach you. So mitochondriacs won't win any popularity contests in mainstream medicine by pointing out new realities like these. That's true, because in the old days, they would have said that we were heretics, that we were witches, that we were crazy, that we are quacks, that we're stoned, we're like on some sort of drug and we're like far out. But when you can point to the studies and the research, and you can point to nature, and you can follow, in biology, in nature, form follows, function follows form. There's a structure in place so that a certain mechanical thing can move forward and can be of service to the organism. Doesn't matter if it's an animal, and people are animals, we're mammals. Doesn't matter if it's an animal, doesn't matter if it's a fish, doesn't matter if it's a tree or if it's a plant. That form, there's a function that follows that form, okay? It's not there for no reason. There's always a reason for it. So mitochondriacs won't win any popularity contest in mainstream medicine by pointing out new realities like these. But the new path to exemplary health in a 5G world requires thought and reason over shiny objects syndrome and seat out of your pants decision making. That means you have to be more methodical about which recommendations you try out and adopt for long term and which ones you drop. That will take some proactivity. It will take more weighing of cost versus benefit. It will take more effort than you're probably used to. So true. One of the things that RD, I'm sure we'll get into, and Dr. Jack Kruse, our mutual mentor, because he's definitely a mentor of RD here, is that Dr. Jack Kruse is not a big advocate of taking all sorts of supplements, like taking a plethora of supplements, because things like vitamin D, you should be get out of the LED light environment that you're in, get outside in the morning. You know, it's not a lot to ask for anybody to be out in the morning, midday, and at the end of the day before sunset to get out in the sun. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. You're getting yourself out of an electronic environment and you're getting out in nature. And you're getting natural vitamin D that your body, through photosynthesis, just like a plant, you can take that light that's touching not only your skin, it's going through your eyes, and your eyes, because they're eyeballs, they're circadian rhythm clocks, because the back of your eye is literally upside down, it's slowing down the wave of light to turn that light wave that's coming through your eyes and through your skin, it's turning it into particles of vitamin D, vitamin A, and vitamin D that now goes into your bloodstream and nourishes the body. Imagine that. Free. You don't have to pop something in your mouth. It's the ultimate, the best. You can never overdose or underdose. It's just the right amount. Of course, nobody makes any money off of that, but nobody should make any money off of that because that's how nature is designed, right? So, as the world's leading mitochondriac, here we go. Let me see. So, as the world's leading mitochondriac, Dr. Jack Kruse likes to say, you have to have skin in the game to be a mitochondriac because we're going to lose a lot of people over the next few decades. Getting healthy and staying healthy isn't mere entertainment like it used to be. It's a direction and a journey, not a single product, practice, or even event in time. It's a way of living. That's my interjection there. So don't count on it being quick, easy, and convenient to succeed while the health of those around you is sinking to new lows. From the generations of technology forward, it's survival of the best educated, most proactive, and fully committed. You need to be all in to stay healthy for good. That is so true. Because if you're not all in your health and you're not going to take the time and attention to be healthy, you're investing your time in something. Either the actions and the decisions that you make will make you healthier, or the actions and the activities will make you not so healthy. And you'll have to pay the price to have to unring the bell of that damage through prescription meds, through time, lost work, lost productivity. Now you have to go drive to the doctors. You got to go spend that time in the waiting room, spend the time in the doctor's office, then leave there, go to a pharmacy, stand in another line, blah, 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 all to come back and get worse over time. And ultimately they're going to say, okay, now, well, guess what? We've done everything that the actual prescriptions can do. You need surgery. So now you have to have surgery. Now you're going to be off, in the hospital for 2-3 days, maybe a week or more. And now 6 weeks of recovery time, no matter what, you're paying the price. So you get to choose, do you want to turn the boat around and get things to get infinitely better? Or do you want to continue down the path where things get infinitely worse? The choice is yours. Even God himself, the universe, Almighty, will not take away your free will. You get to choose. You get to live with the consequence or the benefit of your choices. And that's part of what we're bringing to light here, pun intended. We're literally bringing to light. You are a light being, and we're bringing that to light. So it says here, from the generation of technology forward, it's survival of the best educated and most proactive and fully committed. Everyone is fully committed. The question is, are you fully committed to getting infinitely worse, or are you fully committed to getting infinitely better? And you can't give away your power to an expert knowing more than you, because the reality is you have 100% of the data from conception to now. Nobody has felt everything that you have felt in your body but you. So you're an expert on you. All you can do is seek out those people who have information, like Dr. Jack, like myself, like Carol, who we have found things that without a shadow of a doubt, positively, absolutely work on anyone that can fog a mirror. It could be an animal, it could be a human being. If you are an animal, if you're a mammal, or if you're a human being, you can fog up a mirror test. That means that you've been activated by stem cells from conception prior to your birth. Certain things work on everybody. No one is so special that they don't work. No one is so special that they get out in the sun that they're not going to get vitamin D from the first couple hours of the sun after sunrise before 10 o'clock in the morning. End of story. So now the next section says here, mainstream medical treatments are flawed at best. The truth of the matter, nothing is 100%, nothing is perfect, because we live on planet Earth, and this is the plane of duality. But there are things that work pretty darn good, like the cell activation patches that I'm wearing here. Those work pretty good because it's activating. It's just a mechanical device to turn back on what was already inside you at conception, to reset and unring that bell of damage. So let's see what RD has to say here. I like this guy. So as imagine yourself in this scenario, you get sick and your doctor presents treatment options for you. They offer 2, maybe 3 options to choose from. Sometimes the treatments help. Sometimes they don't. But in most cases, you always pay them. He didn't say that. He said, but in most cases, you learn to live with irritating side effects and inconveniences, because if there were better treatments out there, your doctor would tell you about them, right? I'm going to stop here. Of course they would. If there were better treatments out there, he or she is going to tell you. They have an obligation and they took an oath in the Hippocratic oath to do that. But if they don't know about the best, it's always going to be the best treatment within their field of knowledge and their experience. That's true for any healthcare practitioner. End of story. What you don't know, you don't know until you know it, which is why I'm so excited that we have so many doctors. We have so many surgeons. We have so many scientists. We have molecular biologists. We have epidemiologists. We have anesthesiologists. We have many doctors with 2, 3, and more PhDs in integrative medicine, naturopathic medicine, functional medicine, and more. People with, I would not be surprised if we have billions of certifications just in our group alone, because there's that much knowledge and that many professionals in our group, which is an amazing amount of experience, knowledge, and information. So it says here, we want to believe our medical providers make our outcomes their top priority. And many of them do. I would never say that they don't. There's always, it's just like you have one mechanic who is going to make sure that they fix your car as quickly, as expeditiously, without overcharging. They're honest and forthright. They've had their shop for 20, 30, 40 years and more. And the majority of the mechanics that work with them have been with them on the short side 15 to 18 years, and the others have been for the whole ride. That's showing you a certain level of integrity that is there, that may not be necessarily the same the next shop down the line, that every 3, 4, 5 years the shop changes name and there's a new crop of mechanics there, and they're in for 3 to 5 years and then they're gone. And if you are not doing right by people, that eventually catches up with you, because that reputation, you either have a good reputation, you have a bad reputation. You either are doing right by people or you're not. And that always, no matter what, it always comes to light. So many doctors do. And that's why a lot of doctors outside of an MD, they pursue to get a PhD in integrative medicine, functional medicine, naturopathic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, osteopathic medicine. It's endless, the amount of training that we can get. So we want to believe our medical providers make our outcomes their top priority, are constantly on the lookout for better treatments, and gladly sharing this information with their patients and colleagues. But that's a paradigm of belief that's been falling apart at the seams in recent decades. With increasing regularity, this happens instead. After the treatments frustrate you with intolerable side effects, they lose their effectiveness or the treatments fail altogether. Your practitioner shrugs their shoulders. Some of them really don't know any better. And that's, they've reached they've reached the limits of their capacity, right? So they shrug their shoulders. They tell you they have nothing left in their arsenal for you to try. And they're telling you the truth when they say, I've done everything I possibly can. There's nothing within my reach that I can do for you. And that's where oftentimes people then are looking for alternative ways to repair themselves. And sometimes then they fall in my lap, they fall in, they'll tell their friends about it, and their friends will go, well, you need to go to so-and-so. Why didn't you talk to this person? Or I heard this, like I've had many people who've discovered me on my YouTube channel, and people will say, well, why don't you talk to her? Because she seems to have, this level of great results with her people. Why, maybe she can help you. And so that's when, people oftentimes open themselves up to other possibilities. Other things doctors do, they do wish you the best. And I got to tell you, for those doctors who find themselves in that predicament, that can be, people think that doctors don't care. And some of them are very plagued, very burdened by being in this position. They've tried everything they possibly can within the realms of the confines of their knowledge, their experience, even conferring with their colleagues. And their colleagues are like, you know what, that's a tough one. I wish I could help you, but there's nothing else you or I can do for her or him. And that really, you would be surprised how oftentimes they have sleepless nights because they're like, there's got to be something. And they're really bothered by that because they're human beings too, right? And the last one here, it says he just sends you on your way. And some of them send you on your way because it's too painful to continue dealing with you in that type of status, and others because they really don't care. There's always a percentage of the population where they're like kind of more detached, and it's like, oh, it's statistically, you're part of the statistics, which is kind of sad. And I hope none of you ever come in contact with that type of practitioner. It says, with the decline of human health accelerating, conventional medicine is running out of answers. And you could even say modern medicine is beginning to look impotent, if not totally incompetent, at dealing with chronic degenerative disease. Cracks are beginning to show in the fields of alternative medicine and nutritional therapy as well. But on the bright side, that's how people come to realize orthodox medicine is not all it's cracked up to be. As the limitations of medicine become obvious to everyone, people learn to help themselves and not rely on big pharma or any other health dictators to actually stay well. On the other hand, now this next section says biophysics. Biophysics and mitochondrial biology are multi-layered. So the next section talks about how mitophysics has so many layers to it. You won't run out of options to improve your wellness anytime soon. There's always another level you can take your efforts to. So many principles, practices, products you can add to your routine to get your health where you want it to be. However, if you're coming to the manifesto as a conventional thinker, it can be a sobering it can be a sobering to realize almost everything you've ever learned about health and disease is more fiction than fact. That is so true, because when I first started learning about epigenetics, I was like, oh my gosh, so much stuff in graduate and undergraduate school was so off base, so wrong. And 20 years before, they had already discovered, like I said in previous broadcasts, Dr. Bruce Lipton was doing stem cell research and stem cell cloning before I was born. So, and I went to a very prestigious, an authority, if you will, in medicine, the USC School of Medicine, to be pre-med and to go to get any kind of education at USC. It's a private university. It's not inexpensive by any stretch of the imagination. And USC brings professors from all over the world, the cream of the crop. And then to have, like, my genetics professor, Dr. Phil Udarian, he was a prodigy from Harvard. And him and his wife, they were both Harvard and Stanford trained prodigies. So these are not knuckleheads.
Yeah, really.
They're not, mediocre by any very well established, very, the top of the line, but it's just kind of showing you kind of the, in science and in medicine, there are very definitive boxes. And Dr. Jack Kruse talks about this quite a bit. And I'm sure that RD is going to touch upon this because you can't get a book this thick and not address those issues. So he talks about, okay, so I lost my spot here. Give me a second. So, however, if you're coming to the manifesto as a conventional thinker, it can be sobering to realize almost everything you've ever learned about health and disease is more fiction than fact, if not downright fraud. I don't know if I would call it fraud because you don't know what you don't know until you know it. I don't think all of it was malicious. There's a little bit of malice there, but not at, I don't think at the educational level there's malice. I think there's just, it's ignorance. So, and that the people you trusted to teach you your foundational beliefs have been lying to you out of ignorance. Now, that's what I said. Or even purposely. And some of them do purposely because it's too much work and it's too daunting to go against the establishment, change your books, change your curriculum. And Dr. Bruce Lipton also talks about this, how a lot of them in academia, they're like, I just can't deviate from the book. It would be it's too revolutionary and it could damage their careers. And so because of that, it is what it is. So it says here, it can be hard to wrap your head around the fact that the establishment, and he put establishment with a capital E, has been able to almost completely exclude this information from medical canon for over 100 years. Over 100 years, that's a long time, a whole century. But I assure you, biophysics is indeed a big deal and to medical science, and as well as the future of the human race. Mitochondrial biology is crucial to our continued existence. Prepare to be shocked and amazed by what you've always needed to know, but we're never taught. God ready to start your bad information detox. It says get ready, not God ready. That was a misreading. Get ready to start your bad information detox. Kind of like the way he worded that. Get ready to start your bad information, your misinformation detox. You have information that was, at the time you thought it was proper information, but it was misinformation. And now you're like, okay, now that I'm aware that it's misinformation, now I know both sides of the coin. Dr. Jack talks about Hegel. I was taught this in medical school. Where was this information? Why wasn't I taught this? And now as he connects the dots, he's like, this is what we were all taught. And he was at the top of his class. He goes, who cares that I was summa cum laude, that I was top of my class? It was the wrong information. He goes, I had to connect the dots at my own expense, at my own investment of time and energy, going way out of my way to pull all this information together. And I had others before me, like Doug Wallace, who is the guy who discovered that your DNA is inherited through your mother's line, not through your father's. That's what changed the face of DNA testing. Doesn't matter, Ancestry.com, 23andMe, pick your poison, whichever means you choose. It's the work of Doug Wallace, who won the Franklin Award, who it's just a matter of time before he wins a Nobel Prize for that, for disclosing that information. So pretty incredible. So if you're reading along, if you haven't picked up your copy yet at Amazon, I have no financial interest. I don't even know RD. I don't have an affiliate link. Just go to Amazon, input the Mitochondriac Manifesto, and then you could read along with your copy, and then you can highlight it and make your comments. And then if you have any questions, just put your comments below and I'll be sure to answer them. Okay, so it says here, I love this. Be your own health boss. Become a mitochondriac. So let's see what he says here. So it says, and Dr. Jack is the one who coined the phrase, because he calls himself a self-professed mitochondriac, and those who kind of follow his teachings about photobiomodulation and about all the different aspects that he talks about, he calls his followers mitochondriacs because we're aware of the role of the mitochondria, even though it's a tiny organ inside your cell, how it's such a powerful being because it's what manufactures and digests and processes all the energy in the body. So all that infrared light that you have inside your body, it's because you have good mitochondria. that's processing that, right? So the mitochondriac learns which forces of physics her mitochondria like or don't like. Your mitochondria like sunlight. Your mitochondria does not like LED lights, does not like blue light screens. No, no bueno, no bueno, no bueno. So it says, because mitochondria are the microscopic engines of our wellness or illness. The mitochondriac understands how circadian and infrared or infraradian, it's kind of a funny thing to say, infraradian. I'm going to show it here. You guys see where my pinky is? It says infraradian. It's kind of a funny thing to pronounce, but that's has to do with the infrared light. Rhythms control the body's exertion, recovery, and seasonality programs because they run our biochemistry cycles. She then incorporates those tips and strategies into her daily routine to fortify her immunity and longevity against the disease of civilization. Let's call them mito hacks. Look at here where he says here, mito hacks. He's got a lot of great terms in here. Supporting that call for independence and self-reliance, the mitochondriac does not outsource her wellness to anyone. She doesn't let any drug company, three-letter agency, or clinician dictate what's right for her wellness or well-being. Rather, she decides what's best for her and her family. Through experience and intuition, the mitochondriac knows she can't blindly trust what anyone says, no matter how educated. It's getting back to what I said earlier. You are the expert on you. Carol has said that many a times before. Yes. Go ahead, Carol.
Yes, you're the expert on you. That's a very good statement to remember.
Yeah, because you've lived with everything you've ever felt. You felt 100%. You've been there to witness and experience it all. No doctor, no expert. I don't care. He could have 50 PhDs. You're the expert on you.
Yeah.
Trust yourself. So, through experience and intuition, the mitochondriac knows she can't blindly trust on anyone, what anyone says, no matter how educated, experienced, or well-credentialed the source appears to be, because each individual's mitochondrial physical environment is unique to them. And this makes each person's biology respond differently to a given program, practice, or treatment. With that understanding, it's easy to see why there's more information and advice available than ever before, yet no one seems to agree on anything. But this hasn't always been the case. Before electrification, our mitophysical environments were simpler and more uniform across population groups, which reduces the variation in outcomes. But now everyone is responding differently to a given healing effort because our mitochondrial foundations are more corrupted across the board and more varied. Hence, all the debate about which foods and supplements are good for you and which ones aren't. So the new reality, it's become an N=1 world. And here's your first prescription for prosperity. Don't take the medical industry's literature, marketing materials, and advice at face value any more than you would a used car salesman. Ooh. Use discernment and don't give your trust away for free. Make your educators and advisors earn it. They work for you after all. That's right. You sign their paycheck. Stop assuming others know what's best for your physiology, because no one does. At the same time, start paying close attention to the clues your body is giving you, because it's always trying to tell you what it likes, what it doesn't like, and what it needs. Learn the meaning of its clues, and you can take full control of your health and well-being. That's the functional knowledge of the mitochondriac. Forged from a modern survivor mentality, every one of us is going to need in the wireless era ahead. That's what being a mitochondriac is all about. And check out, he has this cute little cartoon. I would love to get a t-shirt with that. Is that not cute?
That is cute. Yeah.
Very, very cute. And
Clever.
That is,
Very
my friends and gems, we got to page 14. So we read from page 11 to 14. That's the first chapter of Mitochondriac Manifesto, How Nature Nurtures the Body and Technology Torments It. So I want to tell you, my friends and gems, I want to have you guys help me co-create my bringing R.D. Lee onto this channel, where he will share his wisdom and he will talk about some of the gold nuggets, some of which are in this book, some of them that aren't in the book, because we're going to continue to unpack and read and learn about what he is saying and what Dr. Jack Kruse, as you can tell, we share the same mentor. This is a very exciting book to read. My dear friend and gem, Lisa Pettit, who is one of my directors, who she's actually going to be promoted very soon here to senior director. She's a wonderful stem cell activation specialist, lives in Nevada. She also has a second home here in Sunset Beach, so I get to see her frequently. I think it's just extraordinary that she shared with me this book, and what a gold mine it has been. So do you have anything to add to what RD said there?
Oh my goodness, no, it's right on. And your comments just fit right beautifully. So I'm just enjoying the show.
Enjoying the show. Well, really fantastic. So my friends and gems, again, let me know in the comments below any questions, any comments or concerns that you might have. If you would like to set up a time to speak one-on-one privately, how I can guide you either through stem cell activation, or if you're interested in maybe one of my methods. I do repattern the brain from physical and emotional trauma. I also scan people's bodies head to toe. We can do a full body scan. Carol's already experienced that, where you end up with literally 50 pages from all 4 reports. I leave you in a better spot when we started the scan. You'll see where you were when we started. And when I send you the frequencies, because it is frequency medicine, you will see how your body responds in real time. And right there and then we'll see what the before and after is. And you'll see how all these different food sensitivities, all these things that were out of range before, parasites that were there are now no longer there because we've knocked them out, albeit people on the patches, because the patches have a frequency already set, your body's already primed. So it's not unusual. I had a gal just last week who she's been on the patches, I think 6 or 7 months. And oh my gosh, she had so many categories where she had all these things and 100% got knocked out when we sent her frequencies. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like this category, that category, that category. I'm like, wow, she went from having parasites to none, having mold to not having any. It was so many categories. I'm like, you are doing better than many, many, so many people would love. Like her hormones, she's definitely over 50, maybe even over 60. And all of her hormones, like everything like went into line. I was like, wow. So her body was loving being on the patches and loved receiving those frequencies. I was like, whoa. So she had a stellar report. So the same is possible for you. So for those of you who are interested in having all 4 of those scans, we look at the roots of your teeth. We look at your DNA. We even look at the folds of the brain because we scan the brain, the layers of the brain, the folds of the brain. You'll see the sagittal cut of your brain. We scan your heart, all the circulatory systems of the body, all the systems of the body, not just circulatory, endocrine system, pulmonary system, respiratory system, autonomic nervous system, micro and macro circulatory system. I think you would agree, Carol, isn't it like super comprehensive?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's very rewarding. The information is very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you feel better afterwards because you've received the balancing frequencies to bring you into more homeostasis, and then you get to keep the MP3s. So for pricing and for more details, if you want to do a 15-minute Q&A, I can do a 15-minute Q&A where you can ask me whatever it is that you might want. And then if you're interested in booking either an AO scan, or you're interested in the patches, or you might be interested in both, we have that available. For people I have people who used to go to the doctor who don't go to the traditional doctor any longer. And they're like, I still want to get blood work through Quest Labs. We do 48 biomarkers instead of 18 to 24. So it's a lot more detailed. And we have an app where you can do it either on your computer or on your cell phone. You can manage those findings. And we do have a blood specialist, April Stewart Vaughn, who, if you want that additional level of care, she will spend time for no additional cost. If you're on the patches, there's no additional cost. and she'll review your blood work. She trains people all over the country how to read their blood work. She's a blood specialist. So we've got all those tools available for you guys. We want to take really good care of you. We don't want to take the place of your doctor. But if you want this value add, this is definitely something that's available to you. All right, my friends and gems. I'm going to get to catch the last little bit of the sunset, Carol.
Yep, me too.
Me too. So I'm going to jet out the door here. You guys have a great one. Thank you, my friends and gems. Make it a great day. Tomorrow, oh, one thing before I forget, not before I forget, I just remembered, as I should, I want to share with you guys one other little itty bitty thing. Give me a quick second, you guys. What is it that she's going to share? Let me put my glasses on really quick. And I want to share with you. I think you can see it here. Here it is. So I want to invite you tomorrow. I want to invite you for tomorrow at 2 p.m. to join us to learn about how you can activate your stem cells. 2 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Same Zoom link. That's the meeting ID. You can take a screenshot and just go to zoom.us, enter the meeting ID. Then you'll be able to ask whatever questions in real time. If not, you can always check this out on this YouTube channel. Thank you, my friends and gems. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.